cooperative. What kind of a cooperative? And Edgy said, I don't really know. I'm not just an idea. That's something that we did, and I'm up for suggestions. That's why I went and talked to the boss. Maybe since a cooperative is not so capitalistic and not so much about making money, maybe that would help. I don't know. It's just an idea. But anyway, that's what's on my mind. I think we need to try to do what we can. Maybe we can come up with something better. Well, Violet said, well, in any case, count me in. I'm in. I'm retired. I'm healthy, and if we can come up with something, I'm in. My sister Rosemary, she'd be in. She's always in for something like that. She remembers so fondly the Peace Corps days back in Katale de Hosha. Now, Wedge, you know how he is with me, don't you? Ever since my divorce with Jules. He'd probably work with us. But another thing about him, though, is he's like kind of like Tom Bombadil, if you know what I mean. He's got all kinds of energy and strength and stuff when he's in his world. But if you ask him to go out of his world, he kind of loses all that. And Edgy said, yeah, I know. I've been to visit him 2 or 3 times at Wedge Farm. And it's great, but I know what you mean. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. Well, Violet said, I've got something for you to show you, to share with you, that you don't know anything about. I didn't either before this morning. I just found out about it about 2 hours before you got here, and I saved it for you. You know this guy Lance, our guest. Well, he he knows the way we are about taking any kind of payment for hospitality, and he knew that, and he was real apologetic about giving Elaine a pandery. Have you seen that yet? And Edgy said, no, a pandery. You mean what they play in Georgia, folk singers? And Violet said, she wanted to say, how in the world did you know that? But then this was Edgy. He just knew so much stuff. And she said, yeah, he found one at a pawn shop down in when he was coming through Richland back from the beach, and he gave it to her apologetically, and he said it wasn't as payment. It was just something that he thought she needed. And then he gave me something with even more apologies. But he said he really couldn't, he had to do it. He couldn't say no to it. And then he explained, well, Violet then explained to Edgy what Lance had said, that he had to find somebody who was worthy. He'd carried it for 3,000 miles, if not 6. And and he didn't know what it was, but he'd been instructed by Wedge to give it to somebody who was worthy, and he thought he was going to have to take it back with him because he couldn't find anybody quite worthy. Wedge had said, treat this like the Holy Grail. And, I don't know what, she said, I don't know what Wedge is up to, but in any case, I've got it. And I waited for you to take a look at it. And she'd put it on a shelf in the kitchen, and she got it down and laid it on the table and said, Lance called it the scroll. So that's, I guess, what I'll call it too. It sort of looks like a scroll, but he really has no idea what it is, doesn't know if it's good or bad. He's just doing this for his mentor. He felt that he owed it to Wedge, and I accepted it. I really couldn't say no, although I didn't want payment, and so I don't know what it is, but apparently Wedge thinks it's really something. A holy grail, said Edgy. Well, we could use the holy grail. That's what this country could use. Maybe our job would be done if we could just come up with the holy grail to heal the wounds of this country and this culture and this planet, and that's maybe what it'll take, a holy grail. So Violet said, well, let's take a look at it. Now Edgy, he showed that he was careful and he was smart. He said, do you have a camera handy? Because if we're going to open this, I think we better, and if it's as valuable as Wedge seems to think it is, we better do it carefully. Let's take a picture of it. And as we open it, let's take pictures. Who knows what we're going to come to. At the moment, they were just looking at this piece of plastic roll with the ends folded in and a little bit of tape on that. And so Violet said, yeah, I'll just use my cell phone. We'll take some pictures.